Give me 1 second. Make sure we're streaming. I'm gonna have to mute this. Don't need any copyright strikes. All right. Looks like we are good here. Second. All right. There's that. Let's go back over here. Let's record because last time I didn't.
Rounded.
Well, I didn't record on my computer, so I had to go find the file and then download it like a silly man. So, anyway. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. And if you're watching on the replay, it is Monday Mastermind with the Blakester and all of our friends. Want to welcome each and every one of you guys here to another episode of Monday Mastermind. This is actually week 3, and we are calling this one The Art of War in network marketing. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Part of the reason that I came about this was I was listening to some things yesterday from some highly influential people. And one of the things that they mentioned was the art of war and actually how you would see success before you even go through the motions, which I think is kind of important to talk about. But before we get into the topic of conversation, I'd like to throw it out to the audience. Anybody got any wins from last week that they want to share? Feel free to raise your hand, come up and tell us all the good stuff that happened last week. Hello, Curtis. Welcome. Anyone got any wins they want to share? Go ahead.
I
How
have
you
a win.
doing, King? I
Oh, go ahead.
apologize. Go ahead, man. No, Queen. You started first. Go.
No, go ahead, Curtis. I always like
Miss
to go
Reed.
last. If nobody says anything, then I'll jump in. But go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, Miss Reed. I got a combined win. Me and Miss James, we worked together to close a very difficult associate, and I'm here. That's my win.
I love it. I love it. Congrats. So Keisha was that associate a coconut customer? Sounds like it.
No, she was more like an orange. It's that she had
Oh, okay.
questions, but
Okay.
the questions were complicated.
Okay.
She's one of those people that needs the fire hose.
Mhm.
And in network marketing, we're trained not to fire hose people.
Yeah.
But, she needed to get everything like right there and just thrown at her. And she actually got it. So it was kind of
Good, good.
refreshing.
Congrats. Did you use any the what do I call that? The check back question when you were done? Does that make sense?
I I do that with I think
Yeah.
I speak that way. I drive Rita crazy.
But it's good though. It's important to ask that question to see if they're following with you, right? So congrats, man. That's awesome to hear. Good job, guys. Anybody else got some wins they want to share?
Well, I finished that really monstrous website that I was working on for a client. I still need to redo a video, but I have to wait for her to actually give me the raw footage for that. So outside of that, it's done.
Cool.
And it actually was a lot of fun. And because of what I was doing with her, I was able to do an aside, which is a compilation of everything that is included in that website and her next steps. So she kind of gets a how-to manual that came along with her website to help her with her business on a whole. Because like me, she has multiple businesses doing multiple things, and it was hard for her to figure out what she was going to do next without feeling overwhelmed. So by breaking it down in that document, I'm hoping that when I deliver that to her later on, that'll help a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, if you have some kind of breakdown, that should help her out for sure. Look forward to hearing her success and seeing how she goes through the ranks, especially with you guys at the lead. Great job. Congrats, congrats. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Not
Anybody
really a win, but less activity means less wins. I'm the poster child of that this past week. So I did not do enough things I should have done, but just other things were getting in the way. So, but
Hey, I want to just kind of point some out too, Gene, for you. We do our our team coachings, and one of the things that we talked about Saturday that you might want to focus on is just building your audience, right? I
Hmm.
see a lot of that on Facebook with a lot of marketers to where, when you post, you get 0 likes and 0 comments. That really comes down to your audience. So I would try to work on your audience, brother, so you got more people seeing. Every time I see you guys post anything, I'm gonna automatically jump in there, throw love, and do what I can to help support that. But when I see that, I just can't help but think, oh, damn it, he just doesn't have an audience, right?
Oh, and I really think that Facebook holds us back that
For
run
sure.
business through it,
100% agree with
unless
you,
you're
brother.
paying ads. But I did see that my Good Morning today,
Mhm.
I got a bunch of, I
I
mean,
saw that too.
3 times as much activity as what I've gotten on anything else. So,
I saw that
but
too,
I
brother.
decided to start doing that a little bit more to try to generate some more likes and comments, stuff like that, and let's see where that goes. But another friend of mine said that she's hoping with some of the changes going on in social media that maybe that'll loosen up for a bunch of us. So
Did I, by any chance, give you access to my 5-day boot camp?
it's in your team, right?
Yes.
Yes, I just haven't got that far yet.
When you get a chance, watch day 5, bro, because we talk about all the social media strategies, what to post, that kind of stuff. Anybody in here not in the team chat or in that team group to where you have access to the?
Curtis and Jackie need the link.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll give that to you. Because the biggest reason why I'm doing it this way is quite honestly just from what we've learned, and then secondly, in an effort for me not to have to sit there and try to oh, repeat myself a million times. The team chat, this is also too a great example of what we talk about, creating a lead magnet. This is the lead magnet that I use to help bring people into my businesses, plural. Start off with giving them a 5-day free boot camp. They go through, I'll ask them questions, see where they're at in life, start building that relationship. And then eventually, depending on where they're at and their interests, we see about getting them into one of our businesses. So check that out if you would, brother. Anybody that's there, it's in the chat. You can click on that. If you're in Now site and you have an account, all you have to do is log in with your current Now site information. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Now site, don't worry about it. You just create a new user experience. Okay. I think everybody in here is already in Now site. And Anas, you're already on the team, so you should be good to go. So hopefully that'll help. Keisha, go ahead.
I also did my 20-day email for my new associates. I created a 20-day email drip that helps with marketing strategy, whole 9 yards, everything ending in at least one of the 2 action items is set your next on the next day, set a 30-minute um, daily meeting with me, but there's a reward for doing it each day.
I
So
like that. I like that.
I
That's a
did.
great
So
idea.
I worked on that Saturday morning. I kind of woke up inspired and I just kept just going.
That's a great idea for all of us that
I
are in.
did use the apple, the orange, and the coconut, by the way. It's on day 5. They get that.
Beautiful. Okay, cool. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I think one of the reasons that I love this mastermind is because of the fact that we are all coming from different walks of life. And one of us may have some kind of secret sauce or special thing that we're doing that the other one doesn't know about, right? So I love the idea that you went over 12 emails because I always talk about that to do at least 20. And I love the fact that you're in those emails gathering those people and try to get them to connect and have a Calendly or
Yeah,
live.
so I initially did it for Legal Shield, but as I
Mhm.
was going through, I got to day 7 and I'm like, this can just be any network marketing if I
Absolutely.
revamp the first few emails that say
Absolutely.
Legal Shield specific.
Mhm.
Because most of what I'm showing in there, other than the fast start training and stuff like that, is quite it applies all the way across the board. And and then on day 20, they get you completed the beginning. And then the next one is remember BAMOS. I mean not BAMOS, BAMFAM. Book a meeting from a meeting. And that just leads into them starting a new program that I'm also going to be building here shortly.
There you go. Sounds like you're on it, girl. I love it. Good stuff.
Dude, I woke up inspired that morning.
Good, good. So note to everybody in the room, when you're doing your emails, make sure they're at least 12 or more, and then see about throwing a time for you to be able to meet with them. Get them on your Calendly, get them into Zoom so that you can start building that relationship. Great ideas, great thoughts. Thank you. Anyone else got something to share?
Yep. If nobody else is going.
Yep. Higher.
Okay. So I think for me, it's the give to get. And I love that expression. And so I've been working with that. I was involved with a group years ago. Yeah, it was a choral group. And they had a concert, got a ticket, and I noticed their website was not up to speed, up to date, up to snuff. And I said, you know what? Why don't I make you a website? And did that. He loved it. Moving forward, he is coming on board. However, it's the giving the website. He told me he was doing a proposal for sponsorships for two of the events he has coming up. He didn't know what to do. I used AI and Chat GPT to come up with a proposal for him. Also a letter to the sponsors. So whatever he needed in that packet, including the sponsorship levels. I think it was like 12 pages. I jumped into Canva and looked 11 pages to find out what I could use and then just pop that information in. So I'm really excited about that. Probably spent a little time in completing that 3 a.m. this morning, but but I get to wake up late because I don't have a real job. So I really enjoy doing that for them, and I know it's going to pay off big time.
I think we need to kind of pause on what you're saying for a moment and really think about what you just said because realistically, that's been a key factor in the things that I've succeeded in is using that whole give to get, right? You never know what the person on the other end is going to give you when you've given them something, especially if it's something significant as business growth. You know, I keep going back to the story that she talked about on Saturday with the girl that she helped with their branding
Mhm.
and little things like that, man. It may not even take you very long, but you put your best foot forward and try to help somebody, and you never know. That might be somebody that can see the value of working with you and then potentially joining your business, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying this because all through last week, and even up to today, I'm still seeing a lot of that blind leading the blind kind of stuff, right? As an example, I had one person that put in, he said, if you have to go to another upline for your training, you're in the wrong downline. I said, ooh, like that's kind of zippy and it could actually hurt some people's feelings. But in essence, there's a lot of truth to that, right? Especially when it comes to becoming the leaders that we need to be in the network marketing space. One of the biggest things that I always reach out to is my personal experience. And the things that I've said before is there's a difference between being a sponsor and being a mentor.
Yeah.
When I first came into the network marketing business, I was underneath a sponsor who really sucked, did really well, got all kinds of people in his business, but you couldn't reach him to save your life. And there was absolutely zero training. With that being said, imagine, guys, if you had somebody like me join your downline, but yet you didn't reach out. You never said hi, never tried to plug me in. Like, wow, right? Just doesn't make much sense. So thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it. We all should focus on being mentors, not sponsors, right? We all should be thinking about the things that are going to be there to solve people's problems because ultimately that's the easiest way to make money, right? Solve people's problems. And how do we do it? By selling them that, whatever that, whatever that is. My great buddy Marshall Silver, I love the way he talks about it. He says sales is good. It's good for you, good for me, good for the economy. And if you don't make any sales and you're in the sales industry, I'm reminded of my direct marketing days, well, you're not going to eat, right? So I believe that it's very important for all of us to learn the basic art of communication and know and understand sales psychology so that we can win at this network marketing game. So thank you. Appreciate that, Rita. Appreciate your feedback. Anybody else got any wins they want to share? Yes? No? Maybe so? All right. Okay. So for today's content portion or information that we're going to open it up to and ask you some questions, I wanted to kind of have a little bit more fun. I know we always have fun, but this one here is week 3. We're going to call it the art of war in network marketing. Part of that reason, if you've been around me long enough, you know that I'm a prior military veteran, right? And I've said many times before, at least as far as like my train of thought and stuff, for me, network marketing is as serious as being in the military. And, I look at it from that perspective. Maybe it's a little convoluted or far-fetched for many people to think about, but I look at it as the same thing as the United States Army or even in the military. The wrong steps or wrong things done could literally end your life. Obviously, we're not talking about your life in real life, but we're talking about your business life, right? Your business life. We talk about this all the time on how people, in essence, 85 to 90% of the marketplaces that are out there actually do not qualify to run an online business. Why is that, Robert? Well, because they don't know what they're doing, right? You have to become that person to where, you're going to go into a business. It's always going to be because of a state of transition, or you're just like ready to change something in your life. Like you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And we go in with the wrong perspective and also with the wrong knowledge, right? So for me, I want to talk about The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Now, I personally have never read this book. I don't know if you have. If you had, give me a 1 down in the chat area. I haven't read it, but I'm very familiar with the contents only because of my experience in talking to people and just understanding the art of war, prior military, and all that, right? So there's a few talking points that I want to go over, and I'm sure that they're going to resonate with the entire audience. You say point 0.5 because you hadn't read it or kind
No,
of,
I started reading the book, I lost it, I never replaced it, and I
oh,
just kept,
okay. All right, cool, cool. So
never
on this,
finished it.
right on. So I might even have to pick it up and read it. I don't know, or at least the audio version. But so in today, there's 6 talking points that I want to talk about when it's directly related to the art of war and the network marketing arena. So I want you to take some notes, write these down and stuff, and then towards the end, we'll have a few questions that I want to answer or ask and have you guys answer. But this is the first one, number 1, that I absolutely love. Again, keeping into account that I'm prior military. Write this down. Number 1, understanding the battlefield. What? Understanding the battlefield, right? So in network marketing, the battlefield is the market itself. That includes competitors, potential clients, and even overall business environment, right? Now, as I was explaining to you all of this stuff, that's really what it comes down to is understanding the battlefield. When I talk about the battlefield, I just gave you a big portion of that battlefield. 85 to 90% of the people that are out there in network marketing don't even qualify because they don't know what the hell they're doing. This is important, and why I'm stressing this is because those of you that are here and connected and near the fire that are staying warm are learning these things that we need to be successful. These are easy, quick little lessons that we can then take, utilize them, and then share that content or information and literally be able to pose or put ourselves in a leadership position. Why? Because you know more than the next person, right? Understanding the battlefield is very important because even when I go and I think about the rank and military structure, just like it would be, let's say a team leader and people 2 levels down, 3 levels down, and so on. It's an organization of people, right? But you always have that leader at the very top, or hopefully their leader at the very top, right? But knowing and understanding the battlefield can help you because when you know these little bits of information, that Keisha spits out, or Rita, or Gene, or any of us are talking about, that gives you power on the battlefield, my friends. That gives you the armor on the battlefield, my friends. That gives you the bulletproofing. It gives you the tanks. That gives you the big guns, my friends, right? So it's important, obviously, that we know, learn, understand these things. We talked about this several times. The easiest way to do this is learn, implement, and share. That's the formula. In between implementing and sharing, you would want to gather the data. So what is it that you learned? What did you implement in that learning? And then what were the results of that happening? That's what we share, right? In fact, Saturday, I absolutely loved the way we came off of our Saturday training because not even realizing it, I ended up with the new tagline, right? And then that tagline is simply, I don't want the glory, just go tell your story, right? So it's very important that we understand the battlefield and then know how to tell our story. Very important. The second one, number two, very important as well. Strategic planning. Strategic planning. Again, this is all from the art of war. And how can we take this art of war, put it into network marketing, and use these strategies and things that we're learning to help us be more successful? Strategic planning is one of them, right? You heard Keisha briefly mention about the new website that she's going to be developing, right? She's planning, strategic planning. You heard Rita talking about her giving to get. It's planning, right? By doing this, we're hoping for this outcome. Hopefully it happens. If it doesn't, it's okay. We remove ourselves from that equation, right? But with strategic planning, Sun Tzu emphasizes the importance of strategy over reliance of brute force. And when I think about that, I think about the network marketing arena because you can't just give brute force. And by brute force, I mean say, hey, here's my link. You want to sign up? Right? We can't do that. We can't go into a relationship or a conversation trying to pitch at the very beginning. It's very important that we all understand this. There has to be a conversation that's had, then there has to be a transition to business. But before that transition to business is done, we must change that person's state. Very, very important for us to know and understand this. Okay. But if we can go through and have these meetings and other meetings that we have and have some strategic planning, we understand the battlefield again. We're more apt to have success than the other person that's not. Okay. Number three, the element of surprise. I absolutely love this one. The element of surprise. So just as Sun Tzu values the element of surprise in warfare, network marketers can apply this by innovating and staying ahead of trends, surprising the market with unique value propositions, right? Those of us that are in here, we're all on Now site. We use artificial intelligence. You have new things that have come to the market, like social to lead. Those are all cool things that we can surprise people that are in the network marketing arena by showing them something that they've never seen before, right? One of the biggest reasons that I put people on a Zoom and show them the back office and Now site is so that they can see it, so that I can physically knock their socks off and they see what it is that I'm doing and using, and they have to have it. If you show somebody something that they have to have, the odds of them buying it are a lot higher. And what I mean by that, to make sure that everybody's on the same sheet of music, I'll have people that'll say, okay, Robert, well, could you just send me your link? I say, no, I can't just send you my link because you're going to look at it and you're going to have questions. What I'd rather do is find some time when you're available, jump on a Zoom, and I'll show you the back office and answer any of your questions. Use this verbiage. Make it your own, my friends. Use this verbiage because it works. Okay. I'm not going to give you something that doesn't work, but I'm telling you, every single time that I tell somebody that, they love and appreciate me. Every single time, without doubt. They're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Robert. And then what that does is psychologically, it's forcing them to access the recess of their brain to figure out when is the best time for us to meet, right? So the element of surprise is pretty cool. As far as the element of surprise as well, something else that is coming into my head is on day 5 boot camp where we talk about cliffhanger posts, right? For using cliffhanger posts, that can also be constricted or utilize as a element of surprise as well. Okay. So let's think about those things that we can utilize. Number 4. This might sound funny. Know your enemy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That one cuts deep. Know your enemy. In the context of network marketing, this could mean understanding your competition. Now, I like to kind of look at it and say, I don't really have competition. That's my mindset, right? And I do believe that there is enough for everybody. But obviously, there are people out there that might be in your realm of expertise, which can be considered your competition. If that's the case, are you spying on them? Are you looking? Are you seeing what they're doing? Right? Because for me, I would want to know what my enemy is doing. And if they're doing something that's really good, I might want to actually take a piece of that page, right? Something that I might want to institute. I had mentioned on Saturday that one of the biggest things when you're doing really good in network marketing is you'll find that people will copy you. In fact, earlier today, a friend of mine named Jane Ward, who's a six-figure earner, said the same thing. She's like, you're not supposed to just take people's posts and just put them up there, right? They're not going to resonate with your audience as they might resonate with somebody else's audience. And at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, man, that's such a good lead in. I should go talk to her about Mimo, right? Oh, how about if we just make it our own? That's the beauty of having the right tool suite, right? So with Mimo, right, we can go and oh, hold on, Sarah. Oopsie. With Mimo, we can go and we can do those kind of things, and we don't have to, necessarily copy it word per word, but we copy it word per word so that we can have it sent out in our own verbiage, right? Our own language. And obviously, too, there's something to consider, like we were talking about at the very beginning. What is our language and how is that resonating with our audience that we've built? Because make no bones about it, we have to build our audience, my friends. We have to do that. That means we have to go into different Facebook groups, the ones where your people are at, and start communicating, maybe dropping some wisdom inside those groups so that you're attracting people to you, right? But definitely need to know who your enemy is, if any. Number 5, strengths and weaknesses. This is huge, my friends. Huge. As I've mentioned many times before, if you're not taking track of the numbers, you're going to find that it's going to be difficult for you to have growth. Why? Because you don't know where you're starting at and you're just kind of shooting in the wind. So I do recommend for everybody that's on here, if you're not doing it already, please do yourself that favor and keep track of the people that you're talking to on the daily. Keep track of the times, keep track of what the conversation was, and ultimately keep track if they joined your business. Because if you're not keeping track of that, how are you ever going to know that you're at a 10% because you talked to 10 people, showed them your business, and only one signed up? You're never going to know what those numbers are, is why I'm telling you this, right? So that weakness, if you do this, can now become a strength, and that strength can literally drive you through to where it is that you want to be, right? But we have to look at both of our strengths and our weaknesses, no matter what they are, right? I just mentioned just one off the top of my head. Another thing, right? It might be something as easy as our mindset. I say easy, and it's difficult in some cases to many people, right? But even things like that, maybe our mindset isn't the right way it needs to be, which, in my opinion, would be considered a weakness. So take a look at yourself. Take a look at yourself. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I really good at? And what do I really suck at? Right? And whatever you really suck at, if it's important enough and it's related to your business and growth, then I would start trying to focus on those things. Right? Start trying to focus on whatever you're weak at so that you can get good at it. I need to remind you guys And I'm sure you'll get tired of hearing me say it, but it's not about pitching and selling. This business is about personal development and you becoming the leader that people want to follow. That's it. So if you're not becoming the leader that people want to follow, who's going to follow you? Right? Who's going to follow you? And that being said, if they follow you and you don't do the right things, obviously they're going to stop following you. Right? For me, I look at it like this. Like I'm not everyone's coach. I may not be everybody's savior or whatever, but those that get me will get it. Right? Those that don't, I don't care. I am only here to work with the people that want to work, right? The ones that want to grow and learn from my 40 plus years of experience in sales. So let's think about our strengths and our weaknesses, and ultimately, let's work on those weaknesses so that we can become better. Number 6, moral influence. I'll spell it out. Moral. Holy crap. Moral influence. Sun Tzu talks about the importance of moral influence on soldiers. For network marketing, this could be seen as the importance of building a strong, positive team culture and ethical marketing practices, just like what we're doing right here, right now. Get it? From the lost transition to our team coaching that we're doing, this is what we're doing. We're building moral influence on multiple people so that we know how to do the right things and we're practicing morals, values, and scruples. We're practicing doing the right things to make sure that our mindset is the right way so that we're doing the right things for other people. This is very, very important, my friends. When you look at the general laws of the universe, it will catch up to you if you're lying, cheating, or stealing to people, right? All those things that are in the dark will come to light. So it's important that we have a moral obligation to not mislead anybody, not lie to them, but be 100% authentic and honest and open. Beautiful thing about the questions that we ask, right, is if you ask somebody, where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you? And they say 9, well, we know that that person is going to quit within the next couple of weeks. Why don't we tell them that? Why don't we be honest and say, you know what, I'd love to bring you on board, buddy, but you just don't qualify. Try it out sometime. You're gonna love the effect that it has on that person. What do you mean I don't qualify? Try it. I'm telling you, you'll love it. And then tell me how much you loved it because I love it when they do that. And then they'll backpedal. They'll, well, no, wait, well, maybe if I have you as my coach or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right? Let them go through that stuff, right? But if they're not a 10, don't sign them up, guys. Don't sign them up. Don't waste your time. Pre-qualify everybody before you bring them into your business and make sure that you're hiring 10s. That being said, I'm also going to go back to and think about, you know, what I talk about in our team coaches with the A, B, and C reps, right? So you have A reps, B reps, and C reps. Your job as a leader is to take those C reps to B reps, your B reps to A reps, and support your A reps. Your A reps don't need you other than a question or two, a little advice here and there, right? I can tell you if you've got a bunch of 10s on your teams, they're going to be A's. If not, at least B's that you can structure into becoming an A. And these are all things that I've learned over the course of my tenure. But it was interesting to me and fun also. When you get to the point where you're building teams and you can see them collaborate together and also work against each other in a fun way, it's a lot of fun. And what I mean by that, I'd pit my guys against my girls, and my girls would always kick my guys' asses every single time, every time, right? Which makes me think about the beauty of network marketing and how it is now, and how all of you women that are in here dominate the industry, and how those men, of us men that are in here, we just really have to know our shit. We don't have the pretty face, right? We don't have that. So, moral influence, very, very important for us to think about. Those are the 6 things that I want to bring to everybody's attention. for us today, dealing with the art of war in network marketing. The excuse me, the art of planning itself, right? When it comes to strategy, it's the art of planning and directing overall military operations and movements in a war or battle in network marketing. It's all about planning your approach to the market, recruitment, and sales tactics. So that's the definition of strategy if you're looking for that. So when I think strategy, that means, okay, well, what is going to be my campaign from A to Z? How can I develop it, right? What is my approach to the market? What is my approach to how I'm going to recruit? And what is my approach to getting those sales? That's strategy. If we don't have some kind of strategy, we need to come up with one really fast. Because if you have no strategy, again, it goes back to you not keeping track of the numbers. You're just shooting in the dark and you're never going to get where you want to be quick enough. It will take you 3, 5, 7, 10 years before you understand it, right? Definition of tactics that we talked about. The art of deploying forces in battle. In network marketing, tactics could refer to the specific methods used to achieve short-term goals. Like all of those little things that we talk about, right? Connecting with that prospect, saying, hi, thanks for the connection. I look forward to your friendship. Building that rapport, building the relationship, and then building the buying atmosphere when you pique their attention and you draw them to you, right? Those are all tactics that we use. These are all tactics that I teach you guys. Definition, the terrain, physical environment of which the battle takes place in network marketing is going to be the digital landscape. Social media platforms are the targeted demographic. See, if you're not prior military for myself, I tell you, we had to learn a map. We had to learn land navigation. We had to learn what a peak was, what a valley was, what a spur was, what a draw was, what the elevation was in height. All of those things matter on the battlefield. Because again, going back to the beginning, if you don't have the right information, the right people, you're going into war and people are going to die, right? It's a serious matter. I don't mean to sound so like crazy, but I want to stress it in such a way that it really drives the point home, right? Same thing will happen with our businesses. And I've seen plenty of people jump into the market or jump into the battlefield and just get slaughtered and destroyed. And then what happens? In fact, not even 3 days ago, my friend Desiree put out a post. I got to step back. There's too much stuff going on, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, the only thing I could do was say, hey, I went, took her comment, put it into AI, responded, said, I could totally understand. Sometimes you got to take a step back and said, whenever you're ready to come back, let me know. I'm here for you. That's all I did. And she was very appreciative of just even that small little thing. Right? So I want to open it up to these questions and you guys answering them. First question I want to ask is how can we apply Sun Tzu's principle of knowing the enemy and knowing yourself to better understand our competitors and our own marketing, network marketing business? Who wants to take that? Go ahead, Keisha. I know you were just ready to raise your hand.
Listen, I knowing your enemy, I'm with you. I don't have enemies. I don't have competition because I don't care if we're doing the same thing. You don't do it like me,
Right.
right? But when it comes to knowing thyself, I tell my folks all the time, we all have bad habits. Figure out what your bad habits are and defend your life against your bad habits.
Love
You know
that.
what I'm saying?
I
I
love
do
that.
it with I do it with money. Like I know if I have cash, it's gone. It doesn't matter if it's 5, 10, 500, or 5,000, it's gone. Okay. But I put it on a card and I will analyze 10 ways to Sunday before I swipe it. I know some people that's the opposite.
Yeah.
I know that when it comes to social media, for some reason, I drag my feet. If it was not for Now Site having a post ready for me when I open up in the morning, I probably would never post because I don't even think about it. It never crosses my mind. So
Right.
now I actually have Alexa. I said it this morning to send me a message at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because that's one of the times for what I was posting that
Mhm.
it said it was a good time to post. Well, 2 o'clock is. So 1 o'clock is when it alerts me to prep a post for today. Um, and then starting this weekend, that'll be my win for next Monday, preferably, is
Mhm.
I will set up my post for the month. Because I now have a strategy that I got because of that other stuff I did this weekend. But I knew what my bad habit is. I have a habit of not posting if I'm not being prompted to.
Right.
Because
Sure.
social media has never been my thing. I am a one-on-one.
Yeah.
My close rate is greater than 80%
Wow.
because I listen and I only tell you about the things that matter to what you're dealing with. The rest of it I keep in my back pocket.
There you go. Very nice.
So
Very great response. Great answer. I appreciate that. Very cool. Very cool. So here's question number two. In what ways can we innovate in our approach to ensure that we are winning the battle before it's fought? In what ways can we innovate our approach to ensure that we are winning the battle before it's fought? Go ahead, Gene.
Well, Keisha just said it. Listen.
Mhm.
We have
Yeah,
one mouth, two ears, but as that saying go. But yeah, just listening. That's one of the things I'm guilty of is not listening enough. Um, and what I've been working on more and what I'm trying to use my nav for is as people post things, uh, um, I got to make sure to put in that in the nav what that is so that it understands. And then I even have to sometimes course correct with my own nav because maybe it wants to go for the sale right away. And I'm like, no, hold on. We're not there yet. I want to ask more questions first, provide me some questions, and then it understands what I want. But yeah, just listening more is one of the uh, things that we can definitely use more often, I'm sure. So
I love that. I love that, Gene. And there's something we talk about inside that 5 day boot camp. And it's a technique that I learned in direct marketing that all you guys can take and share. It's real simple. It's called pen to mouth. I know it's not directly related to what we're talking about because you're talking about the AI portion and stuff. But going back to what we're talking about, pen to mouth. I learned that anytime that somebody's talking, I put the pen to mouth. If I don't have a pen, I'll use my finger. The moment that the other person on that other line starts talking, I immediately like, oh, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Even if they interrupt me, and it's now towards part of my habits, right? So it's customary. I love the way that you said that too, Gene, as far as your AI, you don't want to allow that to supersede what you want to do in the right ways and allow it to try to, go in for the kill too quick for sure. I appreciate that answer, brother. You got something to add to that, Keisha?
I did because sometimes we listen to respond, and that's just as bad as not listening
Mhm.
because you listen for, and AI does it a lot. It listens for keywords and it
Right.
responds to the keyword, and sometimes it's way off from what it is you're trying to do. You have to active listen, like you have to actually absorb what the person is saying before you come back with your input. Because when you listen just to respond, they can feel that. It feels disingenuous and they start tuning you out.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. Appreciate that. Next question. We're almost done here. Next question. How can we use strategic planning to minimize our weakness and leverage our strengths in network marketing? Hmm. Everyone's
Repeat
quiet.
that.
Repeat that again.
How can we use strategic planning to minimize our weakness and leverage our strengths in network marketing?
Oh, okay. All right.
What comes to mind when I say that?
My weakness,
Okay. Which would be what? What do you think?
yeah. Um, my weakness really is to really to just to get myself out of the way so I can do what I know I should be doing
but and not let self say, "Oh no, you can't do that." Just move self out of the way and do my personal development. So as you say, so I could become the leader that I want people to follow. And is
Amen.
that not going to happen until you move self out of the way? Because self is the
Boom.
most hindering thing in a person's life.
Oh,
You know,
oh, you're giving me goosebumps, girl.
okay,
Oh,
I'll go on. So that's
someone's paying attention. Oh, I love it.
you
Ah,
know, so that's one of the things that
woo,
I think that we need to do.
you
Most
just had
important.
chills run all up and down my spine, girl. Woo, you got it. Woo, that was nice. Yes. Very good, Catherine. Thank you. Keisha, you got something to add?
No, I was saying I had so I have two. Procrastination is one of mine, which is why I started setting a meeting. So at least 1 hour every day, I have a meeting with somebody that that is better than me in something, so that I have somebody to be accountable to every day. Otherwise, I realize that one of my bad habits is I will never stand you up, but I'll stand me up in a heartbeat. Why I do that, I have no idea. I will always be like, I'll get to it in a minute. When it's me, when it's you, I will always show up. I will always do what I say I'm going to do. So
I
for
love that.
me, putting somebody on my calendar each day of the week for at least that hour gives me that accountability to finish whatever it is I'm supposed to be working on.
You know what comes to my mind when you say that? Say what you mean and mean what you say. All right?
I do
How
it
many
to everyone
times have
but
people
myself.
disappointed you? Don't be that guy or that girl, right? That comes to mind. It's like, oh
Yeah.
shit. Totally.
Also, Robert, I would think that most of the personal development will help us with that as well. The more personal development that we use, the stronger we become. And as far as we are ourselves, we grow, and then your mind grow, your mind expand. So personal development is very crucial as well. We need to do more personal development. Like Jim Rohn said, work harder on yourself. And he said, work harder on but I'm phrasing
Amen.
it. Work hard on yourself as well. Because if you get that personal development and you got your mind and you have worked on yourself, nothing will stand in your way to getting what you want to achieve.
Amen, my friend. Amen. Woo. They said that with nice conviction too. I just saw that video 2 days ago, by the way. Jim Rohn's talking about that, working on himself. So it's
Mhm,
no surprise to me that you're bringing that up.
mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, question number 4. What role does team culture play in overall strategy, and how can we improve it in line with Sun Tzu's teaching? A lot of the stuff we were already kind of talking about, right? But for me, I want to take this, if you guys don't mind. For me, and I trust, hope, and believe that I am setting a good example for everybody in here, right? Because in essence, if you want your team to act a particular way, you probably be a good idea to act that particular way, right? There's that thing that I like to say is I'm never going to ask you to do something that I haven't done personally myself.
Mhm.
Right? And even those things, when you go and you say those things, they're very meaningful to other people from a sales psychology standpoint. Even the things that Keisha had mentioned about not letting you down or being there for you, all of those things are monumentally important, right? Because as I mentioned before, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. But the moment you let that person down, it's over, right?
Mhm.
It's difficult to try to fight to gain that person's trust back. Trust is a funny, interesting, and beautiful thing. Once you have it, you never want to lose it. Because once you do, then that's where the negativity can start spreading. That's where the bad rumors go. That's where the negative things come into your world that you really don't need, right? And we can avoid all of that just by having morals, values, and scruples and doing the right things at the right time, no matter who is watching. Okay. So that's my answer. Thank you, Robert, for sharing. That was really awesome. Number five, the last question here, guys, and we'll wrap it up. How can we better understand the terrain of network marketing today, including social media and online marketing strategies? Anyone? How can we understand the terrain?
I use a combination of, sorry, YouTube, college, and now site.
Totally, totally. So, even when I think about that with the terrain, again, I'm gonna just speak from my experience. I remember MySpace. It was one of the best social networks out there. I absolutely loved it. I remember when Facebook came on board. I liked it a lot. Progressively, I have this love-hate relationship with it. However, I'm here on Facebook because this is where all the people are. And I know how to find them very quick, very easily. When Instagram came on board, or excuse me, not even Instagram, but LinkedIn, well, what were we doing, guys? I mean, people are doing it even now that TikTok went down and people are jumping on Clapper. Here, follow me over here. And that's what we did when it came to LinkedIn. We asked all of our Facebook friends to follow us over here. When we joined TikTok, we asked all of our Facebook friends to follow us over here. So it's like having almost the same audience in many of these different platforms. And my problem was I didn't want to go and put the same thing out to each platform and have this redundancy of sorts, right? So having NowSat is cool because I can change those things up and make the interaction slightly different, or maybe it's just the picture when I go from each one of these different networks. But the main thing to consider is understanding which platform is going to work the best for you. It might not be Facebook, right? There's people
Mhm.
out there that are killing it on Instagram. There's people that are out there doing really good on LinkedIn. The key is to find what's going to work the best for you, understand that terrain like what we're talking about, and understand and know those little nuances and ins and outs and tricks of the trade. For everybody here, if you're running a business online and you're doing Facebook, I would highly recommend, if you don't have one now, to create a group for that particular business, right? Don't put them all together. If you have two different businesses, create two different groups so that you can keep them separated. Then on your main page, use your influence, if you will, for lack of better terms, and then invite them to the group that they need to be in, right? And once they're in those groups, now you can share a little bit more freely on the information that you want to share with other people and have them respond. Gene, go ahead, brother.
Well, those of us that have been in network marketing for decades,
Mhm.
whether we've reached success or not, we've seen the industry change and we've seen the outlook of our prospects change to where so many more Americans nowadays have their guard up. They're like, no,
Yep.
we've seen the
Very
pyramid
true.
scheme more so nowadays. And a
Very true.
lot of that lack of trust, I believe, has come from COVID and all the schemes that were coming up during COVID and stuff like that, that people are just so untrustworthy.
Yep.
So a lot of what we have to do is we have to understand, and this goes back to that listening in, understand each of our prospects, what their needs are, what their wants are, and trying to trying to get our foot in the door sometimes just so that they're willing to listen
Right.
to what we have to offer, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's just the team camaraderie, whatever it is that as you learn from them, what you can feed back to them to get them more interested.
Right.
That the trust level has to be regained again. And me and my business partner, I built a website for her through an outside repair MLM, and that's part of what her goal is repairing the
I
outlook of
love that.
MLM for people.
Love that.
So, and that's one of the things.
Even that, I'm glad that you said that, bro, because even that, like, man, that sounds like a great way to create a lead magnet.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
They've got
Who
it set
doesn't
up
want to
not
fix
from
it, especially if you're speaking to the pain of the marketplace, which is failure, right?
Mhm.
exactly.
I love that. That's freaking
So
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've got it all set up to start dripping. She's in coming back from Africa right now. She just was on a mission
Nice.
in Africa with her mom and a big organization over there for charity, or for kids, for orphanage. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
But when she comes back, we're going to hit hard and heavy with the repair MLM
I like that.
idea more and try to get more leads generated through that. So
And then you're using that to bring them into the gel business, right?
yes,
Sweet, sweet. I
so
love it, bro. Love it.
yep.
I look
And then we
forward to
get it.
seeing.
I'm sorry.
Look, I was saying I look forward to seeing your success, Gene. Like,
Yeah.
there's no doubt in my military mind that you're gonna make it. If you're not where you're at now, you will. I have no doubt in my mind. You know, from you being the wrestler background and stuff, and being a fighter, I know that you will make it, brother. And if there's anything that I could do to try to assist that, you know, by all means, make sure you reach out to me.
Well,
Love
thank
and
you.
appreciate each and every one of you guys. I think that we got some value today. Hopefully you did. If you got a value, raise your hand. Give me a one in the comment area there. Any final thoughts or comments or concerns before we wrap it up for the day? Anas says a lot of value. Perfect. Good, good, good. I mean, that's what we want to do, right? Every Monday, meet, greet, think about the things that happen. Let's take those wins and let's use those to propel us forward for this next week. Right? Arcelia, you got something? Go ahead.
Nothing. I was just saying yes.
Thumbs up.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Glad you were able to make it. And I will see you in 2 hours, right?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome, my friends. Let's go out there, kick ass, take names, have a fantastic week. We'll see you next Monday. Toot toot.